The crack of the slap reverberated through the bustling chaos of Terminal 7 at JFK like a thunderclap in a storm that's been brewing for years. Hundreds of hurried travelers froze, their roller bags halting mid-stride, phones whipping out to capture the drama unfolding like a scene from a gritty family thriller. My sister Brittany stood there, her hand still hovering in the air, eyes wide with feigned regret, as if I, Jordan Hayes, was the monster who'd provoked her. Our parents, Mark and Susan, pushed through the crowd. I braced for their concern, for a flicker of protection. But no. What the hell did you say to her this time? Jordan, Dad's voice boomed, laced with that familiar accusation. Not a hint of worry for the welt blooming on my cheek. Mom wrapped Brittany in her arms, murmuring comforts, while I stood there, the sting radiating deeper than skin, into the hollow ache I've carried for decades. It hit me then, in that frozen moment amid the stares and whispers, that they'd never see the truth. Not the years of me footing the bills, the silent sacrifices that kept our fragile family facade intact. Brittany, at 28, had always been the golden child, the free spirit, the artist with her inspirational Instagram posts about chasing dreams. She announced at our last family brunch that she was gifting us all a dream vacation to the Florida Keys, beaches, sunsets, the works. I'm covering everything, she declared, clinking her mimosa glass, basking in Mom's teary pride and Dad's gruff approval. But her eyes had darted to me across the table, a sly wink that said it all. Thanks for making me look good, sis. I'd swallowed the bitterness, as always, because that's what I do. At 30, as a software engineer pulling long hours debugging code for a tech firm in Brooklyn, I earned enough to play the role of the family's invisible safety net. But that day at the airport, with my face throbbing and strangers' pitying glances burning into me, the dam finally cracked, not with rage, but with a cold, unyielding resolve. My name is Jordan Hayes, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the fixer, the one who patches the cracks while everyone else dances on the surface. Growing up in a modest suburb outside Philadelphia, our household revolved around Brittany's highs and lows. She was the one with the dramatic flair, skipping classes for creative inspiration, crashing cars because she was distracted by life's beauty. Mom and Dad always excused it, calling her sensitive, artistic. When she flunked out of community college, they turned to me, Jordan. You're so steady. Help your sister get back on track. I did. I paid for her online courses, tutored her through late nights while juggling my own degree. She graduated barely and threw a party on my dime, toasting our parents for their unwavering support. I stood in the kitchen, refilling platters, smiling through the erasure. It wasn't just money, it was the slow erosion of my self-worth. Brittany's first big break as a freelance graphic designer? I co-signed her lease on that trendy loft in Queens, my solid credit score propping up her spotty one. She posted photos of her independent life, captions dripping with empowerment quotes, never tagging me as the enabler. Then came the boyfriends, a parade of chaos. The last one, a musician who fed her ego until he bolted. She wailed to me over late-night calls, begging for cash to reinvent herself. I wired it, watching my savings dip, telling myself family sticks together. But the thanks? A casual text, you're the best. J. No repayment. No acknowledgement. And the holidays? I'd curate gifts from both of us, wrapping them meticulously. Mom would gush. Brittany has such great taste, while Brittany smirked, knowing I'd spend hours choosing. I'd bite my tongue, the silence building like pressure in a fault line, waiting for the quake. This Keys trip was supposed to be a reset, a chance to breathe outside the suffocating patterns. I'd planned it meticulously after Brittany's grand announcement. First-class upgrades for Dad's bad knee. A waterfront villa with private suites because Brittany needed her creative space. A chartered boat for sunset cruises. Gourmet dinners at spots requiring hefty deposits. All on my credit card. My late nights researching. My quiet efficiency. Our parents beamed at her generosity, never questioning how a struggling artist could afford it. The morning of the flight, I was wired on coffee, double-checking itineraries she'd ignored. Brittany sauntered up. Her designer bag, another loan from me, slung over her shoulder. Why are you so tense? Jordan? You're sucking the joy out of this already. Her words sliced. Unprovoked. I hadn't said a thing, just handed out boarding passes. I'm not tense, I murmured. But she escalated. Her voice pitching higher. Drawing eyes. You always make it about you. Can't you let me have this one thing? The slap came swift. A blur of motion fueled by her unchecked entitlement. My head snapped sideways. Coffee splattering across the floor. My tablet skidding away with a crack. The terminal hushed. A collective gasp hanging in the air. Brittany recoiled. Playing the victim. Tears welling instantly. And there were our parents. Siding with her reflexively. Apologize. Jordan, Mom hissed. Not even checking if I was okay. Dad's glare pinned me. Don't ruin this for everyone. The betrayal twisted like a knife in old wounds, their favoritism a poison I'd internalized. Convincing myself I deserved the scraps. Strangers murmured. One pulling out a phone to record. A security guard eyed us warily. But inside, amid the humiliation, clarity bloomed. I wasn't the problem. They were. And I didn't have to endure it anymore. I need some air, I whispered. Voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. Dad waved me off. Hurry back. Boarding soon. Brittany sniffled. Just don't come near me. As if I were the aggressor. I wandered to a quiet alcove near the newsstands. Leaning against the cool wall. The slap's echo pulsing in my mind. My cheek burned. But the real fire was in my chest, the years of swallowed words. Unspoken resentments. Pulling out my cracked phone. I scrolled through emails, flight confirmations, villa bookings. All under my name. My payment. The power I'd always had. But never wielded. Not revenge. Exactly, more like reclamation. A boundary drawn in the sand of my breaking point. First, the airline app. Hard hammering. I accessed the reservation. For tickets. One pair, me. I dialed customer service. Earbuds in. Voice calm as a still sea before the storm. I'd like to cancel 3 passengers. Keep only Jordan Hayes. The agent hesitated. Cancellation fees apply. But credits return to you. Proceed, I said. No waiver. Clicks echoed in my ear. Done. Confirmation pinged. Brittany Hayes. Mark Hayes. Susan Hayes erased. A weight lifted. Subtle but profound. Next. The villa. Aloha from the Keys Resort, a warm voice answered. Modified to 1 suite. Please. She confirmed. Refunded the excess. Enjoy your solo paradise. MS. Hayes. Solo. The word tasted like freedom. Then the boat charter. Downgraded to a single spot. The dinners? Cancelled. Each call stripped away the illusions they'd built on my back. I wasn't exploding. I was unraveling the knots that bound me. Walking back to the gate. My steps were lighter. Purposeful. They sat clustered. Brittany scrolling her phone. Mom chatting idly. Dad sipping coffee, as if the slap was already forgotten history. I approached. Face neutral. Boarding starting. Brittany glanced up. Smug. About time you cooled off. I met her eyes. You're not boarding. Confusion rippled across their faces. What? Dad barked. I held up my phone. I canceled your tickets. The villa, the boat, everything. Silence crashed down, thicker than the terminal's hum. Brittany snatched the device, scrolling frantically. This is a joke. You wouldn't, her voice cracked. Color draining. Dad dialed the airline. Speaker on. His authority crumbling as the agent confirmed, only one passenger remains. Mom's hands trembled. Jordan. Why? We can talk this out. The dam burst then, not mine. Theirs. Brittany's tears turned real. Pleading, I'm sorry. Okay. The slap was stupid. Stress got to me. Dad's face reddened. This is petty. Jordan. Undoing a family trip. But I stood firm. The years of silence fueling my words. Petty? I've funded your independence, Brittany, your loft. Your reinventions. And you? You take credit. Slap me. And they blame me. Mom reached out. We didn't know, you didn't ask. I cut in. You saw what you wanted. Her as the star. Me as the prop. The boarding call echoed. Group A for Key West. My group. Alone. Dad blocked me. If you go, don't come back. His ultimatum hung heavy. But I sidestepped. I'm not abandoning you. You abandoned me first. No chase. No pleas as I handed my ticket to the agent. She whispered, good for you. The jet bridge felt like a bridge to myself. The keys unfolded in solitude's embrace, turquoise waters lapping at empty beaches, sunsets painting the sky without shared commentary. I kayaked through mangroves. The quiet amplifying my thoughts, the psychological toll of invisibility. The betrayal's scar tissue. My phone lit up with their desperation, Brittany's apologies morphing to accusations. Mom's tearful voicemails. Dad's demands for repayment they couldn't afford. I silenced them, letting the ocean's rhythm heal the fractures. Back home. A letter waited, admissions of favoritism. Regrets. Promises to change. I tucked it away. Unready. The price of my choice? Isolation sting. But also liberation. Revenge wasn't sweet, it was necessary, a mirror forcing them to see the damage. And in that reflection, I finally saw myself, not the fixer, but the one worth fixing for.